Imagine sitting in front of a television. Nothing looks unusual. A normal program is playing. The room is quiet. There are no hidden messages, no strange sounds, no warning signs, just a screen. But according to a real United States patent, that screen might have been capable of influencing your nervous system, not through words, not through hypnosis, not through sound, through electromagnetic fields. It sounds like science fiction. It sounds like something taken from an internet conspiracy forum. Except, the document is real. It was filed in 2001. It was granted in 2003, and its title was Nervous System Manipulation by Electromagnetic Fields from Monitors. Patent number US 6506148B2. The question is not whether that sounds disturbing, it does. The real question is something else. What did it actually say? And why did the internet turn it into a legend? The patent was filed by Hendrikus G. Luce. It describes a method for stimulating the human nervous system using electromagnetic fields emitted by monitors. More specifically, it focuses on old CRT screens. The heavy glass televisions and computer monitors that existed before flat screens became normal. Those displays worked very differently from modern LCD and OLED screens. They used cathode ray tubes. They refreshed images electronically. And like many electrical devices, they produced electromagnetic emissions. The patent proposed that if the brightness of the displayed image was pulsed at certain low frequencies, the electromagnetic field from the monitor would also be pulsed. The claimed frequency range was between 0.1 and 15 Hertz. The patent suggested that these pulses could interact with what it called sensory resonances in the human nervous system. It mentioned possible effects such as relaxation, drowsiness, changes in attention, and other physiological responses. This is where the story became dangerous, because one sentence from a patent can become 1,000 theories online. Soon the document was shared across forums, then blogs, then videos. People claimed it was proof that televisions could control the mind, proof of secret experiments, proof that screens had been weaponized. But there is a problem. A patent is not proof that something works. A patent is not a peer-reviewed scientific study. It does not mean the invention was tested independently. It does not mean it was used. It means an idea was described in a way that could qualify for intellectual property protection. That difference matters, because without that difference, a document becomes a myth, and myths are often more powerful than facts. Still, the patent cannot simply be dismissed as meaningless, because it touches something real. The nervous system can be influenced by external stimulation. Modern medicine uses technologies such as transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS, a non-invasive technique where magnetic pulses are delivered near the scalp to affect brain activity. It is used under medical supervision with specialized equipment, controlled intensity, controlled targeting, and carefully monitored protocols. That is not the same as watching television, but it proves an important point. The idea that electromagnetic stimulation can affect the nervous system is not fantasy. The question is always, how strong is the field? Where is it applied? For how long? Under what conditions? And where is the evidence? Screens can also affect people in another very real way. Not through electromagnetic mind control, but through light, flicker, patterns, and visual stimulation. Broadcast standards exist because flashing images can trigger seizures in some people with photosensitive epilepsy. This is not a conspiracy. It is recognized enough that television and online content guidelines exist to reduce risk. So yes, screens can affect the body. But that does not mean every frightening claim is true. There is a difference between a known neurological trigger and the idea that a screen can secretly control thoughts. That difference is where the static observer begins, because the most interesting part of this pattern may not be what people think. Maybe the story is not that old CRT monitors were controlling minds. Maybe the story is that people were already asking a deeper question. Can a screen influence the human body? Can a screen change attention? Can a screen affect behavior? Can a screen reach beyond the image? 20 years later, we may have an answer, but not the one people expected. Modern screens do not need hidden electromagnetic fields to influence us. They have something far more effective: data, algorithms, recommendation systems, behavioral prediction, infinite scrolling, personalized feeds. Every pause teaches the system something. Every click becomes a signal. Every skipped video matters. Every replay matters. Every second of attention becomes information. The modern screen does not need to pulse your nervous system. It studies your behavior. It learns what you like, what you ignore, what makes you angry, what makes you curious, what keeps you watching for 5 more seconds, and then it adapts quietly, continuously, efficiently. This is the twist. The old fear was that screens might secretly manipulate the nervous system. The modern reality is less dramatic and more powerful. Screens learn to manipulate attention, not by forcing you, but by understanding you. Smart televisions now use technologies like automatic content recognition, ACR, a system that can identify what is being shown on the screen, sometimes even when the TV is being used with external devices. This data can be used for advertising, measurement, profiling, and recommendations. The television did not become a mind control device. It became a measurement device, a window that also looks back. And this is why the old patent still matters, not because it proves that televisions controlled people. It does not. Not because every conspiracy theory around it is true, they are not, but because it captured an early fear about screens, the fear that something ordinary, something sitting in our homes, could influence us without our awareness. At the time, people imagined invisible fields. Today, the influence is visible. We call it convenience. We call it personalization. We call it engagement. The screen suggests what to watch, what to buy, what to believe, what to feel angry about, what to fear, what to remember, and what to forget. Perhaps the most successful experiment was never hidden inside a CRT monitor. Perhaps it was not electromagnetic at all. Perhaps it was behavioral, a test of how long attention could be captured, how accurately desire could be predicted, how quietly choice could be shaped, and how much of the process people would accept. As long as it felt useful. Maybe US 6506148B2 was not proof of mind control. Maybe it was a mirror. A strange document from the early 2000s reflecting a fear that never really disappeared. The fear that the screen was doing more than showing us images. And maybe it was, not in the way people imagined, not with secret pulses, not with hidden frequencies, but with something much closer. Observation, prediction, repetition. The screen did not need to control your mind. It only needed to understand it. And perhaps The experiment never ended.